Welcome, welcome. Welcome to our weekly check in. And today we're going to do a brief check in looking at probably the most encouraging part of a weekly check in with our spouse praise. Praise, giving affirmations, giving uh, 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 gratitude, praise, appreciation, affirmations to our spouse. Probably one of the most, and encouragements, probably something that I really think is not talked about much, especially in our problem focused culture. When we think about marriages, we always think, get help for my marriage. I got an issue, I got problems, which we got to deal with. Is that fair?
Yeah, I was thinking about how we don't, I know for me, I didn't grow up giving praise. It was kind of like, you're supposed to do that. That's, you doing what you're supposed to do. So I ain't got to pay you or praise you for that. You're supposed to be doing that. But I think about in our marriage, it is important to show gratitude. It's important to um, make sure that you give words of affirmation.
Yeah, we tend, it's funny, as sensitive as we've become as people and we just are as people, um, we do, we don't give a lot of encouragement. We don't. We're good on not insulting. Like, we know it's bad to insult. We talk about that. And I'm talking about just marriage. I'm like in everything. Like, we know, like, we don't call people names. We know it's bad. We say, oh, that's bad. Why are you throwing shade? So we'll do that. But it's funny. We don't hear a lot about the opposite. About the idea of really honoring, giving gratitude, and praising. So we hear a lot of talk is about, yeah, don't be critical, don't throw shade, don't put your husband down, don't put your wife down, don't do that no more. But then it's more silence,
Yes.
and everything else is just kind of expected.
Right. And I guess I'm thinking about it too because we went to a funeral yesterday and everybody had nothing but words of praise for the young man. And I'm thinking he probably could have benefited from hearing those things.
As we all do. Yep.
Right?
Absolutely.
And so, that whole idea of give me my praise while I can hear it, show me my flowers while I can see it. That's the idea in marriage, that we should be daily, more than once or twice a day,
Yes.
praising each other because there's so much worthy of praise.
So much worthy of praise. I remember one of the ideas that I got in that was in my training as a marriage counselor was this idea of nurturing fondness and admiration.
That's
so
it. Yeah,
what they
that's
talked
it.
a lot about with nurturing fondness and admiration was this idea of the praise is definitely for your spouse, but actually
It helps you.
it helps you. It helps the person who's giving the praise.
Right.
That it's not just you just want your spouse to feel good. No, but it's we need it. We need it, like, because the truth is our brain will tend to focus on the negative more than anything. And lest you think this is just a psychological issue or something about gassing your spouse up, I want to give you guys just two quick references to really have in your heart and mind, but really it's a big one. The big reference is this. Look at the beginning of most of Paul's letters to the churches. Now, Paul was an authority, he was a leader, strong man of God. Every single one of his letters begins with gratitude for the people he was writing to. God's heart is grateful for
Right.
souls, for people, for individuals. If you look in Philippians and in chapter 1, looking at verse 3, I thank my God every time I remember you in all my prayers for all of you. I always pray with joy because of your partnership in the gospel the first day until now. Verse 7, it is right for me to feel this way about all of you since I have you in my heart. A book of Colossians chapter 1 verse 3. We always thank God the Father of our Lord Jesus Christ when we pray for you because we have heard of your faith in Christ Jesus and the love you have for all God's people. Paul could have been saying, for example, you guys are Christians, so get it together. Of course, you're supposed to be here.
Your righteousness is filthy rags.
Yeah, he's supposed to be the. But Paul started his letters with some serious topics in a lot of cases with a lot of honoring of the good, of seeing that big picture. I cannot think of something more important when you speak to your husband or your wife than always having thoughts and actions that express gratitude for your wife or for your husband. Why don't we do it? Why don't we just point out the good all the time?
Because I
Are
know,
we just what is it? What
I
is
know
it?
for me, I used to think I need Antoine to change this, and it's a weakness. And if I give him a whole bunch of praise,
No, I'm not going to change it then.
then he's gonna think he's doing good,
Exactly.
and he ain't doing good.
Exactly.
So I'm not bigging up his head because he got a lot he got to change.
Exactly. Everybody knows that. That if somebody compliments you or gives you encouragement, then you may get a big head, or you're gonna think that you ain't gonna do no more. So you're gonna stop this. So you don't tell him nothing. So if he you let him do it, and when do you ever tell
Once
him?
he do what I say, he think he needs
For
to
a
do,
month,
then I'll give him maybe a little.
maybe a little something. But that's true though. To be fair, I think we do that. I think one of the things that we can tend to do as people is there's this secret rule that complimenting and giving thanks and praise to people will make them lazy, or they won't change as much as you need them to change. So if I say, you look really nice, I don't know, maybe they'll stop looking nice. Or if I say, man, thank you for doing the budget, that was really good, then maybe they'll get too comfortable. I don't know. I think that is part of it.
It is a warp. It is a warp way of thinking about it. We feel like if we give too much praise, then the person's gonna think they don't have anything to work on.
Yeah, that. And I think another one is it just doesn't feel necessary. It feels kind of like a lot of work sometimes, because it's kind of like it's not a problem. So to sit down and have to come up with good things to say feels, for want of a better word, it feels corny.
Yeah, it's not
corny,
normal,
like,
right?
Not normal.
It's not.
It feels.
I think that's the thing we've heard the most. Like, who talks like that?
Who talks like that?
Who does that?
Who does that? Yeah, like it feels. I think for a lot of us, it's just we may not have grown up like that for sure, but it just kind of feels.
We have no
fake.
models of people who.
Not
did
many
that.
models.
No.
And I think it feels fake.
It feels fake.
It's not that it is,
fake.
but it feels fake.
It
So
can feel fake.
we just don't do it.
Right.
For one reason or another. And then some of it is I just think we don't think about it. That's the other one I think. I think it's just that we go through our days, go through our life.
Yeah, or we think about it. Because I do think about good things about you, and it'll go through my mind, but I won't say it. I don't know why, but I won't say it. Like, I'll sit here and you'll
Likewise.
do something,
No,
and
I've done
I'll
it.
say,
That was
man, that was really cool that Antoine did that. But I won't, it doesn't always flow out of my mouth. So it's really good to see that, in trying to obey the Bible, God is very verbal about how much he loves us, how much he thinks we're amazing, how much he believes in us, how much. So if I'm going to imitate him, then
Yes.
I should do it. But in real life, real time, I don't see people doing it.
Nope.
So I haven't picked up that habit.
Nope. No, we don't. It is not. We don't seem to. That's just not our norm.
Right.
Again, and our norms are we know it's bad to put people down, and we try not to do it, but we don't necessarily fill it up
Right.
with praise and honor. And that's why a lot of times it can be very, look, if you want to win the heart of somebody, and this is whether you want the attention or not, you get one person, one man or one woman who compliments you, who sees your good qualities, who
It's
verbalizes
true. It could be tempting.
Oh my gosh, that can be like,
Yeah, it could be very tempting.
And then
It's
you
true.
get home
It's true.
and you can't think of the last time that your wife
It's
shared
true.
something good about you, or that she
That's true.
admired about you. That can hurt.
That could hurt.
That puts your marriage at a really
On top of the
sad place. I'll put
on
it that
top
way.
of the fact that if you have something negative to say, you ain't got no problem saying that.
But right, we sometimes it is easy to complain, but difficult to point out the good.
To praise.
Right.
Okay.
It's easy to say, "Hey, you missed the spot," rather than to say,
Oh, you cleaned the whole table.
"You cleaned the whole table, you mopped the whole floor, you painted the entire room."
It's true.
Oh, but look at that corner. That's what we do. So
Right.
look, I want to give you a practical to praise, especially because it doesn't. You don't want to feel fake or whatever the case like that. One simple thing to do for your spouse is first, I like to think of it as um, think, first spend some time and even now, I would like you to think of some qualities of your spouse that you appreciate in the past 7 days. Now you may say, what do you mean by qualities? I'm not saying just what do you call that? I'm not saying just uh, uh, th- things that may even directly related to your marriage, but qualities of their character. If you want a good place to start, is to start with, let's say, the fruits of the spirit. If you want at the beginning of words, as
Love,
Christians, we have love,
joy,
joy,
peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, faithfulness, and self control.
Okay, that's an example of qualities of character. Amongst others, things like hardworking,
Yeah.
things like funny, or fun and funny, humorous. Things like hardworking, thoughtful, generous, detailed,
Yes.
um,
Compassionate.
compassionate, visionary, hardworking. And let's go to the physical. Let's shift it on over.
Beautiful.
Beautiful, handsome, sexy. You could say uh, um,
Sensual.
But think you see where we're going. Words that describe a person, not just what they do. That's in there too. But start with just qualities of character that somebody may have. So I would like you to, for a moment, think of one or two qualities that your spouse, I don't care if they've only shown it this week for 2 minutes. The 2 minutes they were thoughtful. I don't care. But think of that moment. But then think of a memory. One memory that goes with that word. Try it even now. So pick a word that best describes your spouse.
I got my word.
And then one memory that best illustrates that word.
I got my memory.
And you got your memory. And now, here's two great sentence starters that can help you to begin to give this kind of praise. And here we go. You can write this down if you would like, or I guess it'll be up on the video. But we could do this. Something I really appreciate about you is. Second, give the memory. And after you've given the quality and the memory, I really value this in my life because. And in that second part, I really value this in my life because you're describing, but this is more for you to reflect on why having that kind of man or woman in your life makes a difference. Those two sentence starters, but along with the thoughtful process, because it's not just saying it. You're not just blurting out compliments. You look nice, you look great, I love you, you're great, you're awesome, you're amazing, you're wonderful, you're good, you're amazing, you're wonderful, you're good, you're amazing, good, wonderful, wonderful, amazing. So a lot of times, now those are great, wonderful, amazing, but it's kind of vague. You can say that to anybody at any time. You notice we were trying to get more specifics. And two,
Yep.
You're letting it sink into your own brain. You're not just blurting it out for the sake of blurting it out. But then as you do it, those two sentence starters, something I really appreciate about you is you give the memory, so it's specific, and I really value this in my life because, and you share that. Now here's the catch. On the receiving spouse, the only thing you need to just say is,
Thank you.
instead of,
It must be God. It's because of God.
that's one thing I get. Yeah. Another one I get is some people come, well, what? What you want?
What you want?
What you want?
It's
Or sometimes when people get a compliment,
what I did.
what I did. Or some people just outright deny it. They'll say, no, I don't. I'm not. It's nothing. I should even, like, they put themselves down. My encouragement is also be ready to receive encouragement
Yes.
from your spouse. Just say thank you. That's all. Just say thank you. Say, you know what, thank you. And don't even investigate why they're saying it. Oh, you just want to, I know what you want. Just say thank you. Want to give a quick demo as we close?
I got one.
Go.
I'll go. Something I really appreciate about you, Antoine, is your thoughtfulness and support for me, even when it's hard. And what I'm thinking about is Yesterday, you drove for 6 hours to a funeral and then to my niece's birthday housewarming. And the reason I appreciate that in my life is because you know how much I love my family, and you know how much it means to me to be there for them. And your willingness to do all that driving, you didn't complain, you had a good attitude and you enjoyed yourself, because you wanted to see me like with my family, and I'm grateful for that.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Something I really appreciate about you is, I can't. It's a phrase word. I was gonna say just you're full of plans. Your visionariness, that part of you that's able to kind of be so, I guess, full of plans. Is the best way I could say it. But and I was thinking about this week as an example of how we're in the process of doing a lot of changes in our life, and you really handle the details well. You sat down with books and notes and our budgeting and our planning and making sure that I'm following up, and you did that throughout this week at numerous times. Very detailed. I really value this in my life because I, as you know, am a professional procrastinator at times, and I really appreciate having somebody who has my back so much, that really has our lives and is thinking of both of our lives together and moving us forward, and I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Can we do that on YouTube? So, encourage your spouse. Try it. Think of those words. Have a great week. Let us know in the comments the difference that you can see in your marriage by practicing praise. And we'll see you next week.
We'll see you on our next check-in. Find more of our videos on our YouTube channel, Mind Change. Let us know what you think. Add comments, ask questions, give suggestions for future topics. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks.